Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to Glitter Gel Pen.
Episode 10 of Podmas.
We are almost done.
Yes.
Not that we don't love it, but
but it's a lot.
It is a lot of work.
It's been kicking our butt.
Yeah.
So we hope you're enjoying it.
Don't forget to subscribe so we can hit all of our manifestations.
Yes. So today, we thought that it would be cool to talk about the effects of TikTok, how we got to where we are on that app versus from 2020 when it was all dancing to where we are now.
Yeah. And when you think back to 2020, it's weird. Like, I loved it. I mean, we were all bored and stuck at home, but like
bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored.
Yeah,
literally a thing.
So on brand. But like, there was something like addictive about like watching people do these dances, and even though they were doing the same ones as everybody else, like you just had to watch them hit the
they looked fun, and you're like, ooh, I could learn that, and so then you would do it and post it, like, and it would just go on, and it slowly shifted from like just dances and like hee hee ha ha to
selling stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like they introduced TikTok Shop, and it's just like changed everything, because like now whenever you are on TikTok and you're scrolling, like every single video, if it's not like a drama video because of what we follow, like they're selling something. And when we first started the podcast, like I hadn't used TikTok other than work before then, and I had finally like started to try to spend some time on it scrolling to like get ideas for videos or whatever. But whenever I was on it, I mean, for like a week straight, every video on the feed was the blue lip stain. Yeah. And I couldn't stop watching it. It would be the same color on 50 different people, and I'm like, how does it turn out? I've got to see how it turns out. Do I need that?
It's all the same thing. Like how you said, literally there's like a handful of products. Everybody, you scroll and it's like, oh my God, this is the best thing at scroll. And it's like, you will not believe how great these make my butt look. Scroll. And then it's like, I mean, it's insane. And it almost turned into QVC, I feel.
Yeah, it's like people, and like they get, people get like the affiliate stuff where like they can make money off of like selling the products and stuff. And like I do like understand it, I guess. But my issue with TikTok is like I had a brick and mortar store like of women's clothes, and it was me, like one sole individual, trying to compete with 8 billion people like making videos selling stuff that's shipping from like China. And it's like, I cannot compete with that. And people are advertising for companies for basically for free, just to make like a couple dollars off of a sale or whatever.
Cents off of a sale.
And they've figured out like the most genius way of like getting people to do things for nothing. They're advertising for them.
And like, it gives to me, like, I think about it how back in the day on YouTube, when people would start, partnering with brands and stuff, people would be like, oh, you're selling out, that kind of thing. Yeah. And like, because at first I was like, well, maybe this is kind of like that, like where we didn't really understand, like people got to get in their bag, But now I'm like, but it's different on TikTok because it's short form content. So it's like the whole entire video that you are posting is an ad for what you're trying to sell. Whereas a YouTube video is like longer form, and it might be like a minute long out of your 15-minute video or something that you were promoting something. Yeah. So it's not the same to me as that.
What's scary to me is like whenever I do spend time on TikTok or even like Instagram Reels, or I feel like I spend more time on Instagram Reels than TikTok, but it's the same feeling. And like whenever you open up your Reels or your TikTok and start scrolling, you see the first video, you like it or you don't like it, and then you keep going. But whenever you're like 45 videos deep and you like go to back out of your app, on Instagram specifically it does this, whenever you go to like back out of your app and it shows you the first video that you started on, it makes me freak out, because I'm like, oh my God, I literally forgot that I watched that. And like you're consuming something and immediately forgetting about it and consuming a completely different topic on something else. And it's just like your brain, it's not good for you. It's crazy.
One, it's not good for you and your brain, like how you were saying. And then also the overconsumption of it all. Because like I said, when you're scrolling and someone's like, you will not believe this is the best thing I've ever tried, people get a dopamine hit by being like, I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
And then they buy it and they don't end up using it. Like,
and I feel like it would even be addictive if you were the one making videos selling the products and then people were using your link over anybody else's link. It would make you want to keep doing it because you would be addicted to feeling like you have influence over people. Like whenever we did the video about the Jeff's Dry shampoo, whenever I was like reading the comments, people were saying that they bought the shampoo because of us, and I was like, it made me feel something.
I'm an influence.
Yeah, I felt something from it, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I put some facts on here about how TikTok affects your brain. So as you said, there is a dopamine release. And I guess one of the reasons that they're talking about banning TikTok is because of the brain reward system that TikTok has is like so highly addictive that it's like unhealthy, which is why they're discussing banning it. From what I understand, I'm not really into all that stuff, so I don't know.
Which I'm pretty sure it's actually happening. Like,
yeah,
I know that it's been in the works and like people have been talking about TikTok ban for a couple years now. But like I really think it's happening because basically,
I wish.
Yeah, same. Basically, like the owner, I believe. Listen, I'm not super into all that, but I just tried from what I've gathered. It's like the owner is from China, and in China, I guess individuals don't actually own their things. It's like China is the overall one that owns it. So the owner who owns TikTok and has the algorithm that gets everybody's data, like US, we don't like that because China technically owns it, even though there's a individual. And so we don't want them having our information is what I've gathered. And so they said, can you give us what algorithm you use, like, so that they can see it or whatever, like, and then we won't ban it, and they won't give up the algorithm, so therefore it's going to get banned because they won't, if they don't give up the algorithm and figure something else out by January 16th, I think it is, then it's gonna be banned.
Okay.
So yeah,
I just wish it would go away. I haven't been on it on a personal level or like been consuming a lot of content on it until we started the podcast, and now at night I'm like, I have, like in last week's episode, like I've had so many issues sleeping, and I think it's because like I'm sitting on that during the day, and it's just such a distraction.
Yeah, and it's like any little moment, you're like, if you're just chilling, waiting on your car or waiting anywhere, getting gas even while it's filling up, you're like, let me like just scroll through TikTok real quick. And it's like, at what point do we like stop? It's so addicting.
It's also like interesting to compare like the comments on our TikTok videos compared to like YouTube, because there are different kinds of users, and like I think just the rate at which people like scroll through the videos, they think that they can just say something on a video, comment, and then move on, and it never affects them for the rest of their life because they're on to the next like quick little video. Whereas like on YouTube, like you like are sitting and like spending more time like getting to know who the person is that you're like watching their content, and it's not always the case, but
yeah, and a lot of the time, you know, like our TikTok videos will be from a clip in the middle to the end of an episode of ours, and so they don't have all the context of what we've talked about already, and so they just are mean. TikTok is mean.
Most of the time, whenever I'm like cutting those, I'm trying to get a reaction out of people. Like it's gross. Like it's like, I mean, obviously we like lean into it and we use it just like everyone else does, but like I'm cutting something to put something in a specific way to make them think that we're talking about it one way, when in reality we gave like another 30-minute explanation on why we have a different take on something.
Yeah, it's like TikTok is just a very negative app to me, in my opinion.
And then you got Jeffree Star on there.
Oh yeah, panhandling, asking for scorpions and stuff.
This is what it says about the effects of social media and how TikTok is like constantly selling us stuff. TikTok's algorithm targets the brain's reward system, triggering the release of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This can lead to a cycle of dependency where the brain craves more content for the next dopamine hit, and this can result in cognitive overload. TikTok's constant stream of content can overwhelm the brain's ability to process and store information, which can lead to shorter attention spans, weakened memory retention, and difficult focusing.
Yeah, which I think really has happened.
I can feel it.
Yeah, like because of all the short form content that we see these days, it's like for long form content, it's like you have to really be into it to watch the whole thing or whatever, because other things you can just like watch. You could watch 20 different things in the time that you could watch one longer form video, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get used to having things just like quick, that you don't even want to.
That's
like,
why
have an attention span.
Yeah, that's why I always spend like most of my time, if I have time to scroll, I like to just get on YouTube, because the algorithm, I feel like, is pretty decent for what it recommends you to watch, and it allows me to just turn something on and not have to keep scrolling to find something to entertain me while I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And then I have the visual element if I want to look at it, but most of the time I'm just listening to it anyway.
Yeah. And so I'm like kind of, I don't know how people feel about it, so I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I'm kind of here for the TikTok ban.
Yeah, if we didn't have to post on there to get our podcast to grow, like, let's all go back to Instagram.
Yeah, all go back to Instagram and YouTube like the good old days.
They called us on TikTok, they called us pigs. So I'm just salty.
Yeah. No, like, it's a world of difference, the TikTok comments versus the YouTube comments.
I know, the people on YouTube were like, YouTube recommended your channel, keep going.
Like, I love y'all's personalities, we love it. And like, then TikTok's like, y'all are pigs. Y'all suck.
But yeah, I think that's it for this episode of Podmas, and we will
see y'all tomorrow for your next episode and your next sprinkle of glitter gel pen. TTYL.
Bye.